So you're thinking about moving to Dallas, Texas, but you've never really moved out of state before, so this is uncharted territory for you. And it's a little bit nerve-wracking, right? Well, I can tell you firsthand, I have moved out of Texas several times, although I'm like a boomerang, I always come back. But I literally moved to New York, to Chicago, to Pittsburgh, to New Orleans, and pretty much came back to Dallas after every one of those. Earlier in my career, in my early 20s, I had a couple of different opportunities whenever I got out of the military. And so I jumped on those opportunities, and I loved that fact that I got the chance to move to other states. I lived a year in New York, I lived a year in Chicago, a year in Pittsburgh, and a couple of years in New Orleans. But each time I moved every single different way there was. I've packed my own stuff, driven my own U-Hauls, I've driven cars, towing trailers or U-Hauls. I have had movers do absolutely everything for me, which hint, hint, that is the absolute best way to do it. I've packed stuff myself, I've hired packers. Any way you can move, I've done it. And so in this video, I hope to share with you some tips if you're thinking about moving to Dallas, or maybe not even thinking, you are moving to Dallas, because this is very, very critical to get to work on this process as soon as possible. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. The main tips that will help you make your move to Dallas, actually anywhere, but of course we're biased to Dallas. If you're moving here, we want you to move here and definitely give us a call. But I'll tell you some of the tips that I've learned along the way and give you some other tips as well. Hopefully they'll help you out, and we're going to get after it right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Dallas, Texas and the surrounding areas, then subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market in Dallas. You know, my name is Levi, my partner Travis and I, we get calls and emails every single day from people just like you and you and you and you looking to make their move to Dallas. We absolutely love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, just give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, or even schedule a Zoom call, all in the description below. Happy to help you make a smooth move to Dallas. So as I mentioned, I'm going to give you some of the top tips that I've learned along the way, moving in and out of Texas several times. Always came back though, because it is the best state in the United States, right? I think so. All right, well, that's my opinion, right? But anyways, hopefully you're moving here soon, and hopefully you gave us a call, so we've probably already given you all these tips. But let's start out with tip number 1, and that is look in the description below and download our free moving checklist. It's no email needed. That's nothing to try to capture your information or anything at all like that whatsoever. It's just a free moving checklist. Ideally, it's for whenever you're 4 weeks out, but that should kind of give you some good goals and some good items to just check off as you start the moving process. This is probably more for people that have purchased a home and they're looking to make that move within 30 days, or they're closing in 30 days. It's really good to help kind of keep things organized, but definitely check out the description, download our free moving checklist. All right, so tip number 2 is going to be start in advance as early as possible. I don't think you can plan early enough for your move. So and this kind of goes into tip number 3, which is start vetting moving companies. So, you know, that's the thing. You want to look at some solid moving companies. I'm sure you can just Google moving companies near you or out-of-state movers. You'll get some good options. Be careful though. You make sure you want to review their reviews. And also, we work with the company, or actually some good friends of ours own Black Tie Moving. Now that's a little bit of a higher price, but at the same time, we know you're going to get top-notch service, but you should definitely check out Black Tie Moving. We don't have a link for them at all, but you can probably just Google Black Tie Moving and you'll find them. But otherwise, other popular movers are going, 2 Men and a Truck, I know seem to be pretty good. And also there's some other just random ones you'll find. So, you know, ideally you might want to look at for who's the highest price, who's the lowest price, and usually kind of in the middle is a good medium to fall in as far as finding that out. But again, check the reviews, but start calling now and not only just vetting them, but understanding the dates that are available. This is very important, is that movers are booked very well in advance. So if you don't want to call them last minute, because it could be a lot more difficult to find available movers. So start looking at a company you want to work with, and then find out their availability. So that moves us into tip number 4, which is pack a suitcase. And so what that means is you're gonna throw everything into a moving truck likely, but go ahead and get a suitcase or two and pack a good week or two worth of clothing. And that means your overnight bag, your toiletries. Pack a good week or two's worth of, like you're going on vacation, because you never know what could happen. If you have a moving company moving your stuff, they could get delayed. Anything could happen. I mean, trucks getting wrecks, they get delayed, they get off track, they get early sometimes. I mean, early would probably be better than late, but still, if they don't arrive on the exact date, and not a lot of them will actually give you exact dates, they'll probably give you like a 2 or 3 day window. And so if you pack suitcases and throw them in your car or in the trunk, then you're going to have a good week's worth of clothing to get you through until that company shows up. So that's really key. Pack a suitcase just in case anything happens. You have enough clothes to get you through a week or two. All right, so tip number 5. Are we on 5 already? So sell as much as possible before you move. The good thing about moving so much, whenever I did that early on, is I learned to not accumulate a lot of stuff. But at the same time, every time I moved, I had a great opportunity to get rid of stuff. So that's something that you want to start looking through right now. Sell off or give away or donate whatever you can. And also, here's something else. Now, this may cause a little bit of a controversy, but you may even consider getting rid of all of your furniture and buying new furniture when you get to the new place, because this almost always happens. We've helped several couples, families, even singles move from out of state, and whenever they get to their new place, they tend to not like any furniture that they brought with them, and they ended up selling. So they end up paying to move it here, and then they end up selling it or doing something with it anyways and buying furniture that fits. Now, I don't want to cause any problems, but that's just something that you might want to consider, at least have a discussion about possibly getting rid of not all your furniture, or maybe all your furniture, or half of it, or something, or things that may not fit in the new place, or even go with the style or the design. That's usually where we get the most feedback from, is people are like, their old furniture does not fit the style or the design, or usually the size. You're getting a different house. Maybe you're getting a bigger house. If you're coming from California and coming to Texas, or coming from New York, you're likely going to get a bigger house in Texas. And so if you're used to small furniture, you have one of those nice bungalows or an apartment in New York, or even in Chicago, then the homes are bigger here, so you're probably going to need some more furniture. Now, that furniture may fit in other rooms, so hey, it may still work out, and you maybe just need to add to your collection, but otherwise, just food for thought. But just wanted to throw that out there, not to cause any problems. All right, the next tip, I stopped counting at this point because I'm not sure which, but the next tip, I think we're on 6. The next tip is pack a parts box, and that should be the last thing that goes on the moving truck, but the first thing that comes off. And parts is going to be your screwdrivers, your hammers, your nails, all that good stuff, because if you're going to be disassembling furniture, now depending on whether you're going to be putting that back together or not, again, to me, the ultimate way, and the last couple of times I moved, I've just learned the easiest way is to pay someone to come over and pack all the stuff, versus doing it myself or with family. I mean, that's just me. But make sure, if you're going to be assembling and because the other thing is whenever your furniture arrives, they will put that stuff together, which I love. But if you're going to be doing it yourself, then pack the parts box last. Make sure you have screwdrivers, nails, screws, whatever you need, all the things. If you took all the furniture apart, make sure you label that accordingly. All the nuts and bolts for each pieces of those furniture, have those separate. Also, you want to pack toilet paper and possibly bed sheets as well. Leave that box for the last to go on the truck, so you can come off with the truck, because if you are doing everything yourself, and if you traveled across country, you get in your new home, everything gets delivered, you might just say, hey, we need toilet paper, we need some sheets, and that's it. We're gonna crash out the first night or two, and then as you unpack things and get things ready, it allows you time. Or if something were to get delayed again on your truck, well, then you have the opportunity to, at least you have some bed sheets, you have some toilet paper, you've got your suitcase, right? We talked about that earlier, your suitcase, and hey, you've got a hammer and nails just in case. You got that as well. So think about that, the packing order and what you're putting on the truck and what's going to come off first. All right, the next tip, very important, is to get your utilities scheduled, and we also have a link for that below. We provide a utility concierge for free to all of our clients. We decided to provide that to our subscribers as well. So if you're watching this video, then feel free to check the link below for a utility concierge that you can contact them. We've taken care of the fee for you, so that's no charge to you, but it's a company that will get all of your utilities hooked up, including your mail forwarding. And that's another important tip, is to make sure you forward your mail. And that usually takes a week or so to kick in. So once you forward your mail, it's going to get circulated, redirected, and everything like that. So, but you can get them to, you want to have your utilities turned on the day before or the day of your closing, because likely whoever sold you the house has all of that stuff scheduled to turn off the day of closing. Now, normally that has to stay on for the final walkthrough before, when you check on everything before you close on the house. But just in case, I would turn them on the day before closing. And that way, when you get there, you have running water, you have electricity. Just trust me, if you're moving in the summer or in the winter, so if you're moving to Dallas, Texas in the summer, you're going to want the AC to work. So make sure you plan that. If you go under contract, go ahead and check the description below for our utility concierge. You can get all of that scheduled in advance, and that's exactly what you want to do, because you don't want to be sweating your tail off whenever you get here and then nothing's turned on. And you also want to have running water, right? So you can brush your teeth, take a shower, all that good stuff, especially if you've been on the road, moving, flying, whatever it is you are trying to get there. Just get your utilities turned on. Another tip, if you're what we offer for our clients, if you're selling your home, let's say in California or New York or Illinois or Washington State, where we're seeing a lot of people move from, this is something that you must be aware of, is that if you have a spouse, you're legally married to a spouse, Texas is a community property state, which means even if you are financing the loan on your own, the spouse still has to sign some paperwork, still has to sign the deed and a couple of other pieces of paper. So they must be present during closing. Now, if you're going to be closing here in Texas, then make sure they are with you in Texas. If you're going to be closing in the state you live in before you get here, we can set up what we call a mobile notary, where actually somebody comes to your house and they can have all the documents signed at your house. Let's say you live in California. We can send somebody to your house that will take care of all of the paperwork. And of course, if your spouse is there with you, then you can just sign everything. And then whenever you move here, your house is going to be waiting for you. We can also do power of attorney. So if you're going to be out of the country, I've done this myself. I was out of the country a couple of years ago, and I was selling a couple of rental properties I had while I was in France and Italy and traveling. And a couple of the sellings got delayed and some things came up, but I gave power attorney to someone I trusted. They were able to sign all the documents for me, and I was able to sell a couple of my rental properties while I was traveling in Europe, actually. So if I can do that in Europe, then you can do it from your state. So get a power attorney established, or let us know in advance. We can get the mobile notary scheduled to be at your house. Or if you're going to be in Texas, make sure your spouse is with you in Texas at the time. Now, if you can't be, maybe you're going to be separate, you can sign documents in person. If you're in Texas and your spouse is still in the other state, we can send a mobile notary to that person as well. But whatever the scenario is, we need to plan that accordingly so that everything is taken care of. All right, and so those are our quick tips to help you moving from out of state or to another state. It doesn't have to be just Texas, but of course we want you to move to Dallas, Texas. And give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email if you're thinking about doing that. Again, it's never too early to start planning. That's why we say if you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, because we have had clients reach out to us actually while they're in town. They didn't give us any heads up, but they let us know when they were in town, and we have been able to find them homes. That's not a problem. But we've also had people that I just actually had somebody contact us that said they're moving in 5 years. Now that is very well in advanced plan, but again, hey, they said they would let us know, so happy to help out in any way. That may be a little bit too far in advance, but hey, either way, if you want to reach out, that's fine with us. Ultimately, we're here to help you in any way possible, but go ahead and check the description below. We've got a lot of useful links for you if you're moving anywhere in the country, but if you're moving especially to Texas, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Happy to help you make a smooth move to Dallas. And if you want to check out any of our other videos, we got full vlog tours on Frisco, Plano, Prosper, Wiley, Rockwall, Forney, you name it. We've got a video on the area, so you can do lots of research beforehand. And until next time, well, we hope to see you around town.